And what's up, everybody? Back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast with this guy, Hitmaster, is back in the house with me. It's episode number 49 of the podcast. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to recap Watkins Glen for the Xfinity and the Cup Series. How did the points shake up after the races? Got a lot of news, a lot of silly season stuff. And then, of course, at the end, we have to preview this weekend's action at Daytona and Milwaukee. So that'll be pretty awesome there. But let's start with Watkins Glen. So the Xfinity race I didn't get to watch because I had to work. But I did watch some of the highlights after the race. Ty Gibbs apparently dominated the race. And on a late restart, when Sam Mayer was getting a run, they were going up through the really fast S's part early on in the course. Gibbs drove into Mayer, knocking Mayer off the course into the wall a little bit to drive away. Well, then on a later restart, going into the first turn, Mayer got his revenge, dumping Ty Gibbs, plowing through him, moving on, and then Mayer would end up stealing the win and getting the victory. Which, look, I'm finally happy. I'm happy that somebody finally took action against Ty Gibbs, right? You can't keep driving this dirty and expect to get away with it, even in like the Xfinity series, right? And that calls for pretty sweet revenge on my part. He did have a lot to say in his post-race interview in regard to the situation. He said, I'm glad Mayer was able to get his second win. I've got 13 of them, and I drive on Sundays. I'm like, buddy, you are related to a Cup owner. Of course you're going to fucking get a ride, okay? And like you were handed the best equipment possible. Well, maybe not the best equipment possible, but one of the best equipments possible. So
he got handed the best equipment possible and yet hasn't won a race. So I
in
mean,
the Cup Series, right? So Ty Gibbs being Ty Gibbs, super salty, whatever. But Mayer got the win. NASCAR also admitted to a mistake in the restart order for the overtime finish. This is pretty big. Let me see if I can find the article. But apparently they lined up Parker Kligerman. He was supposed to be 5th, and he lined up 9th for the restart. And he said if he had lined up in 5th, he might have had a chance to win the race. And he needs to win, or could have very much used a win to get into the playoffs. He's right on that bubble. And they lined him up wrong, and that cost him the victory, according to him. Let's see if I can find the article about it. I hate this. What the fuck? Stop it. Let's see. I can't find it. There it is. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Okay, well, I can't find it, but I did read an article about it. It did happen. So that kind of sucks, but what are you gonna do? The race is in the finals now, so what are you gonna do about that? Anyway, I did get to watch the Cup race though. And it was another snoozer. Only again one caution flag. Should have been none. They were pretty, for Watkins Glen standards, they were pretty tame. But yeah, only one caution, which set up with the stages being no cautions, and then we were able to have that and stuff. How did the playoff drivers do? Well, Suarez, I expected to have a good day. He had an early spin, kind of regarded him as a non-factor for the win, even though he was able to not finish that badly. Bubba Wallace, I expected to have a terrible day. He actually had a really good day, finishing in the top 10, or running up in the top 10. So he was able to keep his points differential thing, so he's still above the cut line. And Michael McDowell was a huge favorite to win. He had engine issues late in the race, and that caused him to not finish the race and have a really big disaster. But the biggest fuck up happened in the 9 team. And so about 30-something laps to go. They're getting ready for pit stops, and Chase Elliott runs out of fucking gas all the way by the bus stop. And that brought out the race's only caution of the day. And Elliott ended up getting trapped a lap down and finishing 32nd when he had a top 10, if not a top 5 car throughout the race. And in a must-win situation at a track where he felt very likely that he could win, he fucked up. And that's actually mostly not on Elliott's part. That's on the crew chief, Alan Gustafson. I cannot believe that I'm really ripping Alan Gustafson here on like a bad pit call, because he's been a pretty decent crew chief over the years. And
he's been good with Gordon.
And he made like a 2 or 3 laps off, and this is Watkins Glen, so that's like fucking a long distance that he was off with the calculation for Chase Elliott with fuel, and that ended up costing Elliott the race. And so that brings up the question: is he going to get fired? What's going to happen with Gustafson here? So be big.
I don't feel like he's going to get fired because, I mean, like you said, he hasn't done, like he's yes, he had this mistake, but I wouldn't say I would fire a crew chief just for this one single mistake. I mean, yeah, I would be upset if I was Hendrick or Gordon that are running it. Yeah, I would be upset. But, I mean, I would say, you know what, if you mess one more time, then guess what? You're out. Because,
Right.
he's been with the team for a while. And, he was with Gordon in his last year. He was with, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dale Earnhardt Jr., if I'm not mistaken. That or Casey Kane, one of those two. But, yeah, I don't think they're going to fire him.
It seems pretty unlikely, but that was obviously brought into the question because of the bad pit call. So, but who got the win? William Byron put on a very, very dominant run late in the race and was able to pick up his 5th win of the season. And after a pretty bad slump that he's had in the summer, being able to get back on track right before the playoffs. So,
I wonder if any of us picked William Byron.
For this weekend, I wouldn't have. I didn't think he was going to have that bad of a day, but I didn't think he had that great of a day. I was going to have that great of a day. He put on a really good run. And with his win, Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski have both locked up playoff spots on points. So they are both in. That means there's only one spot left for the Cup playoff grid. It currently belongs to Bubba Wallace, with Daniel Suarez and still in the playoff hunt too. Ty Gibbs is not in the points hunt, I don't think. Still, I don't think he can make it on points anymore. I think he's now also in a must-win situation after having an up and down day, with not really much to speak of there. Then of course Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, all the other ones are obviously in a must-win scenario going into Daytona. So that should be pretty exciting. But overall, again, Indy and Watkins Glen were both not necessarily great races in my opinion. I was expecting a little more action out of, especially out of the Cup race. The Xfinity race had a pretty good finish because we saw a lot of action with the bumpers being used and stuff. But the Cup was a little underwhelming in my opinion. I was kind of half expecting a new winner and caused a little bit more playoff drama at Daytona, and we didn't really get any of that. So. But that's it. I mean, it's still a decent race, but I don't know if you have any other thoughts
I just this playoff, I wanted all four Hendrick drivers to make it into the playoffs. I mean, yeah, I'm a Chase Elliott fan. I want him to be in, but I'm also a Hendrick fan, and I want all of them to be in.
Sadly.
So to now know that it's going to be either because they have to win. If Alex Bowman wins, Chase Elliott's out. If Chase Elliott's in, Alex Bowman's out. So it's like now I'm like I don't know who to choose now.
Right. Or they both could be out if either of them win. So,
Right.
Bowman was injured. That's why he's not getting in. Elliott was injured and also suspended for a race. So that's why he's not getting in.
Reason.
If they had both ran the full season, they would have probably both been in, or at least being able to try and get in on points. So you got to think about that, but it still kind of sucks. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Right.
There you go. That's it for Watkins Glen. Not really much else to talk about there. Let's move on to some other news. So about this weekend, silly season stuff. ARCA driver, okay, I'm gonna butcher this name. Sean Hingorani, I think that's how you pronounce it, from the ARCA series, will make his truck debut this weekend at Milwaukee. He's going to be in the Hattori Racing 61 truck. So that's pretty cool. Also, Josh Berry is back in the 42 car for this weekend's Cup race at Daytona. Let's see, some other silly season news.
I found out that Natalie Decker is going to be a part of the Xfinity series this week at Daytona again. Fucking when does she end?
That's pretty cool.
Just like a Danica Patrick, in my opinion.
Well,
I mean, then again, so is Haley Deegan, but
well, they needed more time. Obviously, still, but anyway, so some sadder news that came out. Sheila Albertson was killed in a road rage incident on the highway. Involved. She was a sprint car driver for Tony Stewart's racing team. So a lot of people are mourning the loss of that there. So rest in peace to Sheila for that. Also, some sad news. Tommy Baldwin came out this week and said that he has cancer, and so the NASCAR community has a lot of him in their thoughts, as most of us do. Not a very successful team owner, but definitely a very reputable crew chief back in his day, and he's been in the sport for a really, really long time. So we're hoping that everything goes well with that, and hopefully he can be back soon. So hopefully things go there. On a brighter note, some really big stuff. There's a Netflix documentary coming for NASCAR. It was announced this week. NASCAR and Netflix are partnering for a playoff documentary series. It's going to be about this year's playoffs, this upcoming playoffs. It'll be premiering early 2024. So this is after. So Netflix did a thing with F1 a few months ago. This sort of thing where they were kind of going over a long span of time, documenting a bunch of drivers and like their lives off the track as well as like at the races themselves. It was very, very successful. A lot of people liked it. Even people who didn't watch F1 prior still really, really enjoyed it. And so now they're doing a similar. They're doing a similar.
We know how much you don't like F1.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes, and honestly, it was pretty intriguing. But it's going to be a lot more intriguing for me to see this with NASCAR. So,
right.
So that's premiering early 2024. A lot of people are like, "Oh, they're gonna rig Daytona so Chase Elliott gets in, so better Netflix ratings for this thing now." And I'm like, you know what? They might. Who knows? Whatever.
Or just you watch. They're gonna have, of course, Chase Elliott be out of it, but then right after they're gonna put Chase Elliott even in the playoff Netflix show just to get higher ratings.
They probably will.
Even if he's out.
They'll probably do a whole episode on like the races leading up to the playoffs, just so that they can have a segment for Chase Elliott in there, even if he doesn't make it into the playoffs. So I would not be surprised if they do something like that. But some other silly season news: Riley Herbst is going to be running Cup this weekend in the Front Row 36, sponsored by Monster Energy Zero Sugar. So that'll be nice to see that car on the track. Alex Bowman is running a Fortnite car at Daytona as well.
I have it up. If you guys want to see what it looks like, it just looks like shit.
I will be honest, though. I'll be honest. That might look pretty cool under the lights.
True. I haven't seen it under the lights, so I want to watch it under the lights. Most likely I won't, because by the time I get back, it'll be 10 o'clock from work, and I won't be able to see it. So, unless it's on... Is it on Saturday this week?
Yeah, it's Saturday night.
Oh, okay. Well, then I probably will get to see it, because I get out at 7:30, so...
Well, there you go. So, also Trevor Bayne is coming back to NASCAR. He's going to run 3 Xfinity races this season for JGR in the 19 car. He's going to do Daytona this weekend. He's also going to do Bristol at the night race and Texas later in the season. So it'll be interesting to see how he can perform there. Definition of a one-hit wonder, if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, Trevor Bayne, ever since he won that Daytona 500, and I think he got pushed by either, was it Gordon or was it... Yeah, I think it was Gordon that pushed him to the victory. Ever since then, he just hasn't been himself. So, I mean, this is going to be odd seeing him race other
especially
tracks.
in the Toyota, because he's been a Ford guy for so long.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But also just came out, Race Choice is sponsoring Ryan Preece this weekend for Daytona. So it's like a pink and white color scheme car. I don't know what Race Choice is, but
I can get the paint schemes up.
So that would be good there. That's really all the paint schemes that were announced for the weekend.
If I can get the paint choice, where is it? Paint schemes, where are you at? Oh yeah. If anybody wanted to know, the only way William Byron would have a chance at winning the regular season title is 0. I'm only saying that because Martin Truex Jr. has 861 points. Meanwhile, William Byron has 785 points. So, if he can win all the stages, which is less likely, if he can win the race again, which could be the chance if he gets out of the big one, then who knows? Maybe he will. But till then, going to Joe Gibbs this year. Darn.
Oh my.
But the playoffs right now, William Byron's on top.
Right. Got 5 wins, most of anybody this season. So
I feel like the top 4 drivers that are going to the Final Four is going to be Byron if nothing bad happens. I'm going to hate saying this. Denning Hamlin. I know. Larson. And this is a shocker. But I honestly think, and this is a long shot, I think that Christopher Bell is going to the Final Four. Right now, he's far, far behind. But if somehow, some way, he could do a sweep by each race, it's like let's say he wins at Martinsville, the uh what final six, he'll get in. So each last race, if he gets a win there, boom, you just keep going, and that'd be the best way to do it.
It's kind of how we did it last year. Kind of
Yeah,
just sneaking through, getting into the playoffs.
I've
Like
only
some,
got to see one person this year win a race because of Michigan rain. um, and that was Christopher Bell at Bristol.
right.
So I
Yeah.
forgot I went to go see that actually, to be honest, until I said Christopher
Ah,
Bell's.
ah. Time
So
can
long
be
ago.
forgotten.
But
Oh,
yeah,
all right, so got a little bit other news to talk about. Let's see, what did I not talk about yet? So some big stuff out of Stort Haas. They are apparent. There's rumor going around. Stort Haas could be downsizing after 2023. Might be selling off 2 of their charters. And this is because of the rising costs of charters and the fact Stort Haas has not been that great this season, with Eric Almirola and Ryan Preece being pretty garbage. Harvick did make the playoffs, and then who's the other guy? I can't think of the other car. Who's the other guy for Stort Haas?
so
Uh,
there's Eric Omarola, Kevin Harvick, Riley Herbst, and Chase Briscoe.
oh, Briscoe. Yeah, Briscoe's been awful this season too, and so 3 drivers not doing so hot, and then 1 got out of the playoffs in points because you're Kevin Harvick, you know. So they think they're gonna get rid of like the 41 and the 10 charter or something like that. The
Honestly, I would just get rid of those two.
the rumor is that 2311 will buy those charters and then move to Ford in 2024, which is pretty unlikely, but not out of the realm of possibility because of the next thing we're talking about. Denny Hamlin is in some turmoil with Joe Gibbs, and he has been also talking to has been in talk with Ford to move over to Ford in 2024. What a shit couple of late summers it's been for Joe Gibbs. Last year, the Kyle Busch debacle, moving over to RCR, and now Denny Hamlin could possibly be switching to Ford. That could be pretty big because, you know, Hamlin partly owns 2311, so if he goes to Ford, it's a lot more likely that 2311 could buy up those Haas charters, Stort Haas charters, and then go to Ford as well. Now, would Bubba Wallace and would Tyler Reddick want to drive Fords? Is also the question. Would they stay if they go to Ford? Who would go over to 2311? I guess maybe Hamlin would drive Ford 2311 now as well, because he would also already be at Ford if he's leaving Joe Gibbs. There has been a lot of turmoil with FedEx. Is FedEx still sponsoring Hamlin? FedEx has not been on the car in like 2 months. And is FedEx sponsoring Denny Hamlin anymore? Is FedEx gonna, if Hamlin does leave, does FedEx go with him? Are they staying with Hamlin or what? So this is all a lot of rumors, but you know, is it really too far to the wrong possibility? Because Hamlin's been running with Joe Gibbs his entire career. 2006 was his rookie season. He's coming up on 18. This is his 18th season in NASCAR.
No championships, may I say?
No championships, but 3 Daytona 500 victories.
Wow.
A lot of other wins, but I don't know. I kind of want your take on this about like the charter thing, and also like with the Denny Hamlin situation. What?
Well, my opinion, if they're going to take away charters, don't take away the 14 and the 41. Because if definitely don't take the 14, because the 14 was made for Stuart Haas. Stuart drove it. You know, it's memorable. If you take the 41 and you flip the numbers, 14. So keep it so someone could actually drive a similar 14 car. And I don't know what Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin have up their heads that think, oh, I'm just going to, you know, choose Ford. But it just upsets me. It really does. I don't know why Michael Jordan chose Denny Hamlin to co-owner with all people. He could have, co-ownered with, oh, I don't know, Jimmy Johnson. Because at the time, Jimmy Johnson wasn't the owner. Oh, I don't know, find Casey Kane. But, you know, find someone that actually can win championships other than, even though Casey Kane didn't win a championship. But
No, he didn't.
But still, Casey Kane knows his shit.
Yeah. But I guess maybe he wanted somebody that's still driving as well. I don't know.
Or I'm gonna hate saying this, and I know it would have never happened because Gordon was already there. Bring back Jeff Gordon Racing, because I guess that was a thing in the NASCAR games. Jeff Gordon Racing.
Well, NASCAR game fantasies are a little different than what we actually see.
I mean, yeah, look at the Chicago Street Course.
Quote unquote, what's oh dear from NASCAR 06. Oh man. But no, this is pretty big stuff. Once again, nothing's been truly confirmed yet if they are selling charters or which one they are. We obviously know they're not selling the Ford charter because we already know Ross Chastain's already got paint schemes set up and like sponsors set up for the 4 car for next season. So that's not going to happen. So it's either if they are downsizing and selling off 2 charters, and it comes down between the 14, the 41, and the 10. We don't know what's going to happen with Eric Almirola. He's been pondering retirement back and forth. Is Ryan Preece staying in the 41? Is Chase Briscoe staying in the 14? There's just a lot of questions that we may not get answered while the season is still going on. Or at least, right now. Probably in the next few weeks or so, though. Hopefully we have some other news about what's going on with all the sponsorship debacles, the manufacturer debacles, the charter debacles, and everything else. So pretty interesting there for sure. And really the only other news thing I had, it's a pretty big one. We're losing another NASCAR team after the season. GMS Racing is shutting down after the 2023 season. Now this is not Petty GMS, which is now Legacy Motor Club. They're staying around. This is the GMS truck team, which is ran, I know Spencer Gallagher was in the 23. I don't know who else runs for them. I think they're a multi-truck operation.
I think one of the trucks is for like drivers that want to come and
they have Grant Enfinger right now, not Spencer Gallagher. That was a while ago. They have Rajhath Karuth, the very, very revolutionary driver in the 24, and they also have Daniel Dye in a part-time run with the 43. So there are 2 full-time truck operations, a third part-time. They're running 3 trucks this weekend, but so that kind of sucks, though. They've been around in the trucks for a while. They've never had super lot of success, but they've had moderate success. I know they've found victory lane at least a little bit over the course of their time in NASCAR, and they've had the Cup stuff. Going up the Cup a little bit and merging with Petty, and now the whole stuff with that. So there will still be elements of them around, just not what we are been used to seeing. This is the first team though to not to leave NASCAR since Chip Ganassi did it a couple of years ago. So this is pretty big stuff. It'll be interesting to see where the trucks go, where the drivers go, where like the truck charters and the drivers go to what teams, who's going to buy them up, because they run Chevys, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So I don't know what you got to say about this, but
I mean, it sucks that GMS is going away because, I mean, they were a good team. I mean, they're not, like you said, they're not going away like fully, but their truck series is going to be out. So,
right.
I mean, it's going to suck because, I mean, that team was destined for another championship. I mean, I think, if I'm guessing this correctly, I think one of their drivers is in the playoff.
I think Infinger's in the playoff.
Hold on, I can check again. But,
So,
I mean, it just sucks. I always liked that team. And now to see them go, it's just, it won't be the same.
yeah, but it will suck, but do what they must, you know. Probably wasn't super profitable of a team, and probably some other factors that went into it as well, other than just, well, mostly it's probably all money driven, but you know, maybe lack of sponsorships or lack of drivers, you know, is what's going to happen with the drivers, or some other thing, but oh no. So, but that's really all of the news I had. It felt like a lot, but it really wasn't. A lot of it's just paint scheme stuff. Kind of clogs.
I know I have some big news from those pins I was supposed to get.
Oh yeah, all right.
They got in, but thing about it is, I don't think I looked at the fine print.
Why?
This is why. The decals.
How did you mess that up?
Look, I was off when I bought these. And when I mean off, I was high in the sky. So.
Oh, that's probably not a good idea to do impulse purchases while baked.
Well, I mean, I'm still okay with this, honestly.
Yeah, they're still cool.
Because, you know, when I get a car, I'll just post it on that.
Are they supposed to be for cars? Are they supposed to just be like stickers you may put on like a laptop or a water bottle or something?
To be honest, I don't know. Clean and dry surface. Temperature at 50 plus degrees. Peel liner from application to... Okay, this is just showing me the directions. Position top of decal and at an angle. Rub firmly from top to bottom. That is a weird sentence to say. Carefully remove transfer tape, leaving only decal on the surface. All right, well, I don't think I'm doing that. So I'm just going to keep them like this. Because as long as I could just have something that says, okay, this was the last race of Auto Club Speedway, I'm okay.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't there for it, which would have been even more cool to get a picture of it, but...
Right.
Oh well.
What are you gonna do? So...
Yeah. I do got a football ring coming in, and I will show that.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
And that's when I'll make my second episode on fantasy, or not fantasy, NFL talk show. Don't worry, it's not gone.
There you go. So,
I've just been busy.
haven't we all? But that's really all I had for news. I don't know if you had anything else.
I could check on Facebook for Corrigan Oil.
Yeah, good idea, good idea.
Facebook is where I get all of my stuff.
I will say I'm still checking online every now and then for any pre-orders or anything for the Alex Bowman Pistons car. It still has not been confirmed that it's going to actually be made. I'm just very likely that's going to be made because it's an Alex Bowman diecast. And so I'm hoping it does. If it does, I'm buying it. But nothing yet. So. And I think we talked about this last time, but we are only like a few Fridays out from NASCAR Arcade Rush's release. So let's see what goes with that. But should be good there.
So there is also one other thing. This is not about Corrigan Oil, but Dale Jr. and I don't know who else. They tested some stuff at Martinsville. Let me see here if I can find it on Reddit.
Does he mean test stuff? Like test cars?
Yeah, I'm trying to find where it was. Aha. The MX5 Cup testing at Martinsville. There's like a whole video for it. So they took if you guys ever played iRacing like I do, there's this thing called an MX5. It's a car, it's a Mazda, and you race it around road courses. Who knows? Maybe they might put these cars at Martinsville just to race for a minute. You know, see what it looks like to be going around in a circle for however many laps. But, I mean, they look good. But they tested them.
It's so unique, and I know everybody's read. This is the first time a convertible has been
But yeah, is from what I'm hearing.
on this track since 1959.
So the first time a convertible has been on that track since 1959, I guess, from what the person's saying. So that's pretty cool to see, because we haven't seen a convertible since, of course, 1959. Dale Jr. tested it. Whoever this guy is, I don't even know who that guy is. I'm looking up a video too of it.
Well, I guess Martinsville doesn't have a thing where you can like drive your car around the track like MIS does, or
Right.
some other tracks.
Because MIS has a little bit of a road course. If you guys didn't know, surprisingly, yes, MIS has a little bit of a road course.
They do? Where?
And they just don't use it.
You sure that's just not like access pathways that they could theoretically drive cars on if they wanted to? Don't give NASCAR any ideas to make MIS a road course race, okay?
I promise, they probably don't watch this, to be honest.
You never know. They have cameras everywhere. Right here, this camera. They're watching.
But yeah, there's like, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I could send a picture of it. But there's like legit a road course at Michigan.
That's pretty cool.
That they just don't use anymore. Here, I'll send it on Discord. Or I'll just show it on the thing.
Probably just show it.
Yeah. So, the red outline is, of course, the track. The gray outline, you can see it, is the course.
Huh.
There's multiple different ones.
That's interesting.
So who knows? Maybe someday, MIS.
Let's hope not. Let's hope
maybe
they don't get any ideas.
maybe this is the start of the mods that's coming to MIS.
Maybe they get like a maybe they get an F1 race here or an IndyCar. Well, I guess IndyCar's already in Detroit, so they probably won't do that. But maybe F1.
Also, here's the race choice car that Ryan Preece is racing.
Yeah. What is race choice? Or not race choice? Race choice.
Race choice.
You choose your own kind of race. There's only like 3.
I will look that up too. Race choice. I guess from what this says, where is it? There's just parts for racing. You can get helmets, you can get neck brace.
Oh, okay.
It's just
That's pretty
racing
cool.
stuff.
It's like a race eBay thing. That's pretty cool.
Hey, would you look at that? A race choice, Ryan Preece autographed Pocono 2022 diecast truck. So they sometimes do diecast. And then at the very top, what makes it funny is it says right here, win Ryan Preece's signed Daytona race suit. I already have a signed thing by Ryan Preece.
Yeah, but for just a random collector, that might be pretty cool to have. To be honest, but
A stinky car driver's suit.
well, if it's from Daytona, it's probably not. Well, I guess it's from this week.
They
Probably-
could have,
It's probably gonna be from this weekend, honestly.
probably.
Actually, I was thinking like, Daytona 500, but no, probably not from the Daytona 500.
You
Probably.
get a special present inside.
Yay!
It smells like shit.
Eesh. Yeah, it does. Anyway, I think that we're done talking about that. If we don't got any other news to talk about, then let's preview our playoff grid. So Truck is back in action this weekend, but they weren't in action last weekend, so there was no change in the playoff grid. But Xfinity had I don't think there's really many shakeups in the playoffs in either series. Again, like I said, Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski clinched playoff spots with points. That was really, I think, the big thing, but we were going to read off the Xfinity cut line. So they're not done after this weekend. Their playoffs doesn't start until Bristol. So they have 3 more races, including this weekend, before they have a cutoff. But the Cup cutoff is this weekend. Truck is in their second race of the first round this weekend. So still some opportunity in the Xfinity series left.
So, with that being said, I will say where they're at right now. And right now, let me just say the people that are locked in, that being John Hunter, Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier won a race. Cole Custer, Sam Mayer, Chandler Smith, Sammy Smith, and Jeb Burton. They're all locked in. They don't need to worry about these next 3 races. The first one, Josh Berry. Josh Berry, he's 106 points above the cutoff, so he's most likely locked in. Unless the next 3 races he wrecks out.
Right.
Shelton Creed is 22 points ahead of the cutoff. Then, Daniel Hemrick, is plus 28 ahead of the cutoff. And then Riley Herbst is 3 points ahead. So he needs to figure something out. Parker Kligerman, who screwed NASCAR screwed over. He is 3 points below the cutoff. So who knows? He might not be able to make it. He might be able to make it. There's still time.
There's still 3 races, so hopefully.
Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones is now 61 race points behind. He needs to either win or gain points.
He's not out of it points wise yet, but
right.
He needs some good runs.
Brett Moffitt needs a win because he's 109.
Oh yeah, he's
Chaz Gralla definitely needs a win because he's 166. So yeah.
Right.
But that's basically all the
relevant playoff pieces.
Yeah, everyone else is just irrelevant. Oh, Ryan Truex won a race. I forgot about that. That's when the Truexes did the sweep.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then Cup
race. So I'm just gonna say it one more time. People that are in and with a win: William Byron, first place in the playoffs. Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, Michael McDowell, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Remember, Ricky Stenhouse won the Daytona 500. Other since then, he has failed.
Yeah, he's been pretty bad.
But here are the people that are locked: Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski. Those two are locked. Now, here's the playoffs. Just think of this. 32 points ahead of the playoffs is Bubba Wallace. I'm telling you right now, if Bubba Wallace makes it into the playoffs tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of people not watching the playoffs.
Probably.
Just because I'm not even going to go into details. But
yeah, good idea.
Negative 32 points is Ty Gibbs. Good.
Oh, so I guess he can still get out on points, I guess. But it's a long shot, but he can do it.
Right. Actually, he might be even 2 points behind unless he gets a top 10 at the end. So if he was to win the first stage and the second stage, he could possibly get in. But he would probably be at least 2 points behind. So that 2 points is crucial.
Right.
Daniel Suarez is 43, which he needs a win.
Pretty much, yeah.
AJ Allmendinger needs to win, which he's been doing okay recently. I'm not going to lie. He's been doing okay.
Yeah, I kind of expected more out of him, though, in these last couple road course races.
Yeah.
He didn't really show up.
And then Alex Bowman win. He's 96 points behind. And I know this passes the 4, but Chase Elliott, 101, needs a win.
Right.
To lock himself into the playoffs. Hopefully one of those two guys can do that, because I don't want to see a non-Hendrick driver not win this. I mean, we still have Byron and Larson that are doing super good this year. I mean, Larson's been going downhill recently, but Byron
picked it back up with the win.
This is your only shot.
He was kind of in a slump, but he was doing pretty good, so should be good. But obviously, with that's going to be a lot of chaos, especially in Cup. But Xfinity should see a lot of good chaos racing at Daytona as well. Under the lights, the truck will get. So we're going to do predictions a little different. We're going in order of how they're racing. The Xfinity race is tonight. At the time of this podcast going up, about 4-ish hours away. Cup is on Saturday night, and then the trucks get a rare Sunday race because they are in Milwaukee. Their first time back in over a decade to the Milwaukee Mile. So they're expecting a very good crowd there. That should be a very exciting race to watch. So we're going to do Xfinity first, though, then Cup, then Truck. And that's how we'll recap them next week when we do the next week's episode. But who we got for Xfinity this weekend?
I think I'm going to go again, like last week. I'm going to go with Brandon Jones. I think Brandon Jones will win this week and put the final junior motorsport driver in. There's only one more driver in junior motorsports that needs to be in. Brandon Jones.
I'm going to pick Sheldon Creed only because RCR cars have a way of just being stupidly good in these late regular season races, and I just think he's going to pull some bullshit out and get the win. So it's my pick. But now we're doing Cup. Do we have the chips?
I'll have to go grab them because I totally forgot. I just woke up right when I was.
Okay. Ding, ding. We're going to do a little bit of an intermission here. Ding, 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 ding. No, we're not. What else I can talk about? I still got to beat this game. This is another next game review I got to make. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I have like 1.5 levels left in the game. And then I can move on to another game. Alright, here we go.
I'll have to soon change the hat because the Red Wings start next month. So, I'll have to be wearing that a lot. Alright. And then who knows, maybe I'll do an NHL podcast.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
Maybe change your one podcast to a full sport podcast.
Woo, honestly, actually. Right. I want that. Looks like Ryan Blaney.
Oh, crap. Now, he's probably going to win, too. He seems to always do that. Like, pull some bullshit out of his ass in one of these plate races.
And now, leave you. I don't think we chose who Ryan Blaney had, but okay.
You get Ryan Blaney. I get whoever's next. Oh, boy. You know what? Not a bad pick. I don't think Busch will...
don't have that bad of a pick.
I don't think either of those drivers will necessarily race that hard because they're both locked in, but Blaney might try and help out Austin Cindric, who needs his teammate, who needs to get a win to get in. Kyle Busch could also, in theory, also help out his teammate, Austin Dillon, who also needs a win to get in. So, still could put a lot on the line, but not necessarily two not bad picks at all. I think this is the first time in a while that I've said that for both our drivers that we've picked. So,
because usually it's one person gets good one, the other person doesn't.
Right. Or we both get bad drivers.
Right.
And then trucks at the Milwaukee Mile. Yeah, I don't know what to say about the Milwaukee Mile because I wasn't really around much when they were racing there last.
To be honest, the only thing I know about the Milwaukee Mile is me playing iRacing, and that's the only thing I know because I've been racing at that track recently.
Okay.
And the very hard track. I feel like the person that'll get the win, I'm going to go with the limb and say I'm going to go with the other Smith, Zane Smith. He'll get his third win of the season, and that'll help him a lot.
Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Ty Majeski to go back-to-back. He won the Indy Raceway Park. I think he'll win here, too. Because why not? You know?
Yeah, why not?
Why not get back-to-back? But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. Thanks, Hitmaster, for coming back on. Thank you everybody who's been watching this long. Next week we will recap the events of Daytona / Milwaukee. We will go over the entire Cup playoff grid, because that will be locked, and we will preview the playoffs. Talk about what happened with the truck and the Xfinity. Xfinity, they got 2 races left, so we'll preview their grid, what's going on with that outlook, and then look at the Cup forward to the Cup playoffs, and also more into the truck playoffs. So, and any other things that come up, we will talk about them. So that's going to do it though for this episode, and that's going to do it for this video. So stay tuned. Much more amazing content from both me and Hitmaster. So go subscribe to Hitmaster right now. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.